Did you know that 350,000 people die from cardiac arrest every year in the United States? This fact was written by David Nicola in a 2023 Albany Med Health System article titled Heart Attack and Cardiac Arrest, Understanding the Difference. This could be caused by people just not knowing how to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR. I took a CPR class in high school, and I'm very thankful that I did. I feel more comfortable if an emergency situation arises where I need to perform CPR now. Many people may think that CPR can be intimidating with no experience, but it really can be simple and broken down into 3 easy steps. I will be reviewing some tips and the 3 steps of performing CPR, which are assessing the scene, evaluating the patient, and performing the CPR. Step 1 of performing CPR is checking your surroundings. You want to make sure you are in a safe environment with a flat surface for the patient. You want to gather extra people around to make sure that you have people to help you if you need it. And you will want to gather medical supplies from the people that are helping you or businesses around that might have like a basic first aid kit. Once you have determined that you are free from environmental dangers, you are good to move on to the next part. You're going to check for important health conditions. You want to make sure that the patient is either responsive and awake or unconscious. If the patient is unconscious, you are going to see if they are still breathing, which can be done by placing your ear down to their chest and their nose, and you can hear for their breaths coming through their nose, or you can feel for their breaths as their chest rises. Next, you're going to check if they have life-threatening bleeding or medical injuries. Once you have cleared all that, you're good to move on to step 2. Step 2 is preparing the patient and calling authorities. You're going to refer back to step 1, and if the patient was not breathing, you're going to call 911 right away. If you are not able to call 911 yourself, this is the time to ask the people around you to help. You're going to grab the medical supplies that you gathered earlier, like a tape measure to measure the 2 inches, a Band-Aid to also measure 2 inches, or a glove to create a mouth barrier. Next, you're going to kneel next to your patient, like I am now, and you're going to make sure they are flat on their back and laying down. Next, you can move on to the final step. The final step is body formation and the actual performing of the CPR. You're going to want to make sure your hands are centered in their chest. If you do not know what centered is, you can go by that bone that's right in the middle of their chest there, and make sure your hands are lined up with their nipples. You're going to want to make sure your hands are centered and your shoulders are squared. Next, you're going to push 2 inches deep into their chest. 2 inches is about that much on a tape measure, or at the end of the gauze from the top of a Band-Aid. You're going to want to do these at 100 to 120 beats per minute. This can be measured or timed with the song Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Once you have done 30 compressions, you are good. While doing the 30 compressions, you want to make sure that their chest is completely filling back up, otherwise it'll cause a really bad injury. According to Mary P. Codigan in her 2010 published journal, CPR Decision Making and Older Adults, rib fractures are the most common complication reported to occur in as many as 97% of all CPR cases. Next, you're going to move on to mouth. You're going to grab the glove you had from earlier and cut it right before the fingers start. Then you're going to place it around the patient's mouth like so. You're going to tilt their head up, make sure their airway is completely clear. You're going to pinch their nose and create that seal with your mouth, like this. And then you're going to give 2 breaths. Once the 2 breaths are complete, you're going to move back to 30 more compressions. You're going to keep repeating this cycle until an AED or an automated external defibrillator arrives, or the paramedics arrive. Once the paramedics have arrived, you know that you have completed the CPR process and you may have saved somebody's life. In closing, CPR can be a very scary process and very unpredictable, but you can perform it in the 3 easy steps I explained, and they may make you feel more comfortable. I think that everybody should take a CPR class because I think it'll make you even more comfortable with that process. And once you have, you can jump into action and save as many people's lives as you want to. I'm going to close with another fun fact. According to the American Heart Association, if performed immediately, CPR can double or triple the chances of survival from any out-of-hospital cardiac arrest.